எதுவுமே தெரியல. So only you are covered.
ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டேன். ஏன்னா சாப்பாடு இருக்குது, இந்த பக்கம் பையெல்லாம் இருக்கு. But anyway, அதெல்லாம் கரெக்டா அந்த பாட்டு was very very happy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I thought like we should connect. You are missing India, Ilya. So we thought like
I have a very strong fondness for this song.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite songs. In fact, this was written by Ganga Maran.
Okay.
Hello, Sudhakar sir. Sudhakar is saying something.
சொல்லுங்க Sudhakar ji.
உங்க ரூம் வந்து ஒரு டான்ஸ் ஃப்ளோர் மாதிரி இருக்கு பாக்குறதுக்கு.
ஐயா என்ன சொன்னீங்க? I will explain.
லைட்லாம் போட்டு ஒரு கலர்ஃபுல்லா
during the course of the conversation I'll show the place where I'm staying. அந்த கதையெல்லாம் நான் அப்புறம் I'll tell you the other end of the story. But I just want to finish off that song. So that song is from the movie called Uru Vittu Viru Vandu. That song is written by Ganga Maran. So Ganga Maran came for one of the events for Desi Crew in 2010.
Oh.
So அப்போ வந்து he was talking about generally about the rural impact and all that. So at that time I asked him, sir, what is the inspiration for the song? Because this is one of my favorite songs. Anytime I go out of the country, I sing it aloud. During my student days now, I would generally sing it aloud. So I try to behave a little decently, but I generally sing that a song aloud in whenever I go any foreign country those days. So he gave a very beautiful backdrop of what inspired him for those words and lines and everything. So in that context, the song is very very nice. Thank you very much, team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And I also asked the people over here, யாருக்காவது அதுல நடிச்ச நடிகர் பேர் தெரியுமா அப்படினு கேட்டேன். யாருமே ரிப்ளை பண்ணல. Ashwanth, I know you know the answer. I want
it is Ramarajan. It is written by music by Ilayaraja. It is sung by Ilayaraja and S. Janaki. The song is based in Singapore. Lyrics by Ganga Maran, obviously. It's from a film called Uru Vittu Viru Vandu. I have very very fond memories of that song. It's a very beautifully written song. So thank you very much. And on another note, anyway, I'll discuss more. So thank you. It's good to see a lot of people. Very very happy to see. Sudhakar, of all things that you can say Ashwanth, how are you? Long time no see. All that you can think of is disco room only. So two things that brings to my mind. One, it shows that you have seen a lot of disco rooms. Two, I'll talk about the lighting later, but we can get started, Srilekha. Good to see everybody. Hello, team.
I just want to thank people who are here. We have 50 plus here, and I just want to say that Ashwanth sir is connected from US today with us. So I know I want you to ask any question. Desi Crew, whatever you want to ask any question to Ashwanth sir, you can be very free. என்ன கேள்வி வேணாலும் கேட்கலாம். படத்தை பத்தி கேட்கலாம், காமெடி பத்தி கேட்கலாம், யூஎஸ் ஏன் அஸ்வந்த் சார் போயிருக்காரு கேட்கலாம், நாங்க எப்படி யூஎஸ் வருது, என்ன கேள்விகள் எல்லாம் உங்க மனசுல தோணுதோ you can ask. Ashwanth sir will be here with us for the next 1 hour. Okay? So thank you Ashwanth sir, and thank you, big thanks to the team over here. Thank you. So team, over to you. Anybody can kickstart, please.
Okay, Srilekha, I just wanted to ask Ashwanth, good to see you. And you're sipping a cup of coffee as well. In the song pati sonninga,
is this a coffee really? Is that a real coffee?
I wish I'm trying my best not to tilt the camera, because I have my food, my dinner here. I have water here. I have apple. I mean, this is the only thing I can show right now.
Right.
So the rest of the thing is like you have to like navigate to come to the place. The whole place is a mess.
Right.
So sorry Sarandan sir, நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. So coffee like
நீங்க song start பண்ணோம்.
There is no dairy milk. I only drink pista milk and oat milk. So
avocado is available there.
Nobody doubted you apart from Srilekha.
I can show you pictures. In fact, I took pictures of avocado and I sent it to Bala to show to that lady.
Right.
You get avocados in bulk. Sorry, Sarandan sir. You're saying something.
Musical note la start pannirkom. I just wanted to ask you. You talked about that particular song, and so the New York Nogaramna innor periya song. We all know that A.R. Rahman.
Yes.
So where Surya misses Jyotika there in New York. So are you missing your wife? That's my question.
அந்த சாங்ல வந்து ஊரை ஏமாத்தி இருப்பாங்க. அது கம்ப்ளீட்டா சுவிட்சர்லாந்துல ஷூட் பண்ணி நியூயார்க்க காட்டி இருப்பாங்க. இங்க வந்து in fact I'm missing my son and my wife actually.
Right.
I keep talking to them because he is going through his initial changes. He's just going to school.
Correct.
In fact, I just had a call with him an hour ago.
Correct.
So my wife is not missing. Wife is just happy that the troublemaker is not in the house.
Right.
But I think my son is missing because he gets to see and I can see a few things. So I'm planning to run the San Francisco Marathon next week.
Oh wow!
Of course, பெரிய அமௌண்ட் கேட்டாங்க. அவ்வளவு பணம் எல்லாம் இல்லைங்க, நான் வேணா வாலண்டியர் பண்ணி they asked me $300 கேட்டாங்க ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்றதுக்கு. $300 எல்லாம் கேட்டா ராம்குமார் சார் என்ன வந்து சிட்டிசன்ஷிப்பை கேன்சல் பண்ணிடுவாரு அப்படின்னு சொன்னேன். நான் வேண்டாம், இந்த வாலண்டியரிங் ஒர்க் பண்ணி பாட்டில் எல்லாம் பொறுக்கி அந்த அமௌண்ட் கழிச்சு அதெல்லாம் வேண்டாம், ஏதோ கன்சிடரேஷன் பண்றேன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. So the point is that I wanted to run the marathon thing and I found என்னோட ஷூ கொண்டு வரதுக்கு பதிலா அவனோட ஷூ கொண்டு வந்திருக்கேன். அது எப்படி ஆச்சுன்னே தெரியல. So as a ஒரு ஷார்ட் ரன்ல வந்து I wanted to carry his shoes, so that's what I'm trying to do for the San Francisco Marathon on 28th. That's one of the things that I'm trying to do. But yes, family, yeah, missing them. But திடீர்னு யூசுவலா வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ட்ரிப் எல்லாம் வந்து யாரும் வீட்டுல கண்டுக்க மாட்டாங்க, எங்க எப்போ இருக்கும் அப்படின்ட்டு.
I like it also how you said after marriage and you have a kid, no, so you say you miss your kid and then the wife, right? And yeah, so
wife is fine. Wife is fine because she's happy that nothing is broken in the house, nothing is damaged. She doesn't have to worry about running late for anything.
Absolutely.
But Payana, I think he's kind of also realizing that or character veetla irudhu kanume அப்படினு.
How old is he?
But he's 2 years and 3 months now.
So you have to every day is a kind of a
yeah. So நான் வந்து அப்படியே கவிதை லயமா இங்க இருந்து வீடியோ கால்ல பண்ணி see how this is how the running is happening, this is how there are trails here, there's a river here அப்படின்னு காட்டுவேன். சோ வீட்ல வந்து இதெல்லாம் நாங்க டிஸ்கவரியிலே பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். why do you have to trouble us at odd hours and போன காட்டுவேன். so yeah, but it's good. So I'm right now just for everybody's knowledge, I'm right now based in the Bay Area, which is the west coast of USA, California state.
Right.
So in the state of California, Desi Crew has registered and we have an office at Fremont. It's a city in the whole Bay Area. So that's where Anup is sitting and working.
Correct.
And for all of you who know, we are doing an on-site activity for Google, at their Mountain View office.
Right.
So Anup gave me the opportunity to visit the team, and I was interacting a lot. We have somebody named Paula on site who's recruited. Then we have the back-end team from Kapu. I think there's Susan and there's Swaraj, Rakesh. They're doing a fantastic job. I think I'll talk about that task later, but I had the opportunity to spend 1 week, doing that work with them. And they've done a very commendable job of, working with the customers there. அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த வாரம் வந்து was very exciting. This week was very exciting because I registered on Meetup. I don't know how many of you know there's a Meetup app. So last 10 years I'm using that app. Sudhakar is smiling because I know Sudhakar used it for something else. But I use Meetup app primarily for these AI meetings and tech talks and all that. So in that context, Monday I had the opportunity to meet a dinner session at Gunj, or a founder of Gunj was there. Tuesday there was a place called Hacker Dojo, where the hackathletes was there. And then Wednesday I was at another founders meet at Mountain View. So these are all just common people coming and sitting. Yesterday, interestingly, I had a meeting at Sunnyvale where I met, I don't know if anybody's heard about Ask Jeeves, askjeeves.com. Have you heard about that website? It's a very old website. It was a precursor to Google. So அதோட CTO எல்லாம் வந்து உட்கார்ந்திருந்தாங்க. So they were there. So all these random meetings are very useful. Today I just came running from Stanford actually, Stanford Medical College actually. So there was a session on generative AI for medicinal purposes. So they had doctors and techies sitting and conducting a session. Unfortunately for me, they caught me dozing off and they had to wake me up. But it was good. Overall, it was a good session there. Then other than that, my job primarily is for customer meetings and understanding how Desi Crew can be relevant for the market here. So that is the point. I know you asked about the family. Sorry, I shifted away.
No, that's good. So that's the purpose of this meeting. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Sarwan sir.
I have few questions. I'll ask you in the white.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Sarwan. Yeah. So, anybody? Sudhakar, Shanmugaraj. We have Mohan here. Mohan, Vismaya.
Hi, Ashwanth.
Hi, sir. This is Mohan.
Yeah, Mohan.
Carry on, sir.
No, we'll go alphabetically. Mohan start, then Shanmugaraj.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir. I think it's night time, right, in US?
I have no idea. Anyway, yes.
How is it?
I'm doing good. Yes, thank you.
One question actually from my end. We do have a workforce for annotation projects, right? So obviously going to that business scaled up the primary ideology. So we majorly are doing that annotation related to autonomous vehicle and fintech related annotations, right? What is the requirement for future skills? For example, medical related or agriculture kind of things. That's what we just align the workforce to upskilling our team or find a new team or right. That's what.
Resources. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's my question, sir.
Thank you, Mohan. So, just to extrapolate Mohan's questions, right? So, I am primarily here on my key budget or my key purpose here is to work on annotation or to find customers from the annotation space. And I'm hoping everybody in the call understands what annotation is. So, Mohan's team does a lot of LiDAR and annotation work for autonomous vehicles purposes. So I was very happy to see a Waymo car taxi, which is going without a driver. So I sent it onto the WhatsApp group also. So basically you can book a cab. The cab will come without a driver. There'll be nobody in the car. You can go wherever you want. You can the car will come, stop next to you. You get inside, you get out. That's it. There's nobody in the car. It looks very creepy, but that's how Waymo is. And for a lot of meetings that I'm going, I'm using that as my starting point. I'm telling, hey, we are actually annotating data for that kind of a purpose, the use case. So Mohan, extending your question, right? Outside of automotive, there are opportunities in the retail space, in the images. There's a whole lot of opportunity in the with companies like Amazon, with companies in the fintech space itself that you're doing. So what are the customers looking for? They're wanting to know what is the level at which we can understand the seriousness of their task. Does that make some sense, Mohan? This is a conversation I had with somebody here, right? So I tell them that we have experience of doing 3D LiDAR. I tell them our team has done labeling data for nutritional data points, correct? Nutritional data, expecting nutritional data. We have done classification of waste material classification in labeling, 2B and segmentation and stuff.
Correct.
So for that, they're telling, okay, all of that definition is fine, but you tell me what is the qualification of the people to do the job. They're not wanting to know whether we did a degree or not. They want to know how do you approach a particular project. Does that make some sense? How do you do transition? How do you train people? Okay, for a new project. So that is the aspect that they're keen to understand. As much as I can show them in presentations and everything, they really want to understand the crux of the people here, Mohan. So I tell them things like we have done undergraduation, we can understand English instructions, but they're like, how do you assess quality? How do you train people on quality?
Got it, sir. How quickly we are,
Quick is one thing, yes, exactly.
Project, right?
Correct, exactly. And they're telling so if I were to showcase Mohan, I say Mohan is my subject matter expert. They're like, okay, fine. We are a company called Mercedes Research. Now we will teach Mohan what is our quality requirements. Okay. How does Mohan ensure that his team of 200 people are ready? We understand this quality parameters in the same language that we are expecting them to understand. It seems to be a very simple requirement, Mohan. I'm not
transition. Yeah. How we transition that requirement to the team, right? That is the
correct. They're constantly asking me, show me your quality framework. I am like, quality is like God. You can only feel it. You cannot show it. But then they told me to get out. But the point is, what they want to is to see what is our steps internally that we are taking to ensure that we take quality as a critical factor, right? I can tell them that our error rate will be over 98%, and theoretically we do double entry, we do one person work is second person recheck is happening. They're like, show me the metrics. It's like your MIS. They're like, show me your quality MIS. This is something that I want to pass on, Mohan. In fact, to everybody who is all the leaders on this call, right?
Correct.
When we are talking about asking a customer to outsource work to us, they want to understand, because they're not going to see us. They're not going to see us every day. They want to be confident that this is a team which is not going to mess things up for them. Does that make some sense, Mohan?
Yes, sir. Yes, actually, we can show that our experience, previous achievements, what did in the projects, right? That is
Correct.
one thing, sir. Yeah.
So I keep telling about Toyota. I keep telling without mentioning, our process. I keep telling about the work you do and all that. But like, this is interesting that you raised it, because just yesterday, Thursday, I think somebody was asking me, how do you, what is your quality framework? Right? So
Yeah.
what will you answer, Mohan? So you tell me now, what is your quality framework?
Yeah, our quality framework is our team can understand that the project requirement in the quick way. So whatever the protocols or the basics do's and don'ts, whatever we can transition that knowledge, process knowledge within 15 days. That is, we can create the 200 people, right? It's
Yeah.
achievable already. That is one thing, and then we can align the team 24/7, right? Even night shift or
Right.
any other shift based on the customer requirement, we can align the team to
Right.
one thing. Then we do have the backup team or leadership team to ensure that quality and whatever the metrics client assigned in the weekly or monthly, right? In case of we just achieved the target whatever assigned the client, right? 95% we can achieve in the team.
That
That is
point,
our
sorry,
capabilities.
Mohan,
Yeah.
just in the interest of time, right? That
Yes, sir.
quality, can you, I mean, and this is for everybody, I'm hoping, and it's a learning for me also. So sorry, Shileka, if I'm taking too much time.
No,
So
no, sir,
Mohan,
no. This is what
explain
we want the
quality
people to
aspect.
know the thing. Yeah, no
So
worries.
tell me about the quality part, the 95%, right? How do you go about achieving that?
Yeah, actually we ensure that we initially finding that in the training period, right? So we find out the top 10 resources in the team, so who did the completion of job, I mean task, anything. So with as per the customer requirement, right, we find the strong backend team for the quality related things. Then we find a small team, split out the team to assign that one QMs or one QC person to lead the team, so that that one particular person to ensure that 5 members team or 2 members team, 3 members team quality before submission the task. This is how we ensure that initial space. So
So,
then day by day we reduce the dependency level.
so is this tracked? So Mohan, this is
Yes,
theoretically sounding convincing. Okay.
correct. Yeah,
We
yeah,
try to repeat this. Then they ask me, how do you track it and how do you map it back? So they're telling, show me the report. Like you said, right? If there are 15
yeah,
people, can we see that kind of report?
correct,
Not just us, but any report where it says you have 15 users, this was their productivity, this was their QC, and this is the correction that you went to make change to them. So,
correct.
Mohan, so we'll talk more about this, Mohan. In fact, we'll
Sure,
talk
sure,
with
sure.
Firoz.
We do have the reports and daily reports or daily
Yes,
productivity and
yes,
how they are improved their productivity and quality wise. So we do have
right.
day to day we are in operation for we are tracking their performance. This is
So
how.
this, Mohan, so this exact question, right? I want somebody from Q and Cloud. Anybody from Q and Cloud? How do you answer a question when your customer says, what is your quality framework? Anybody from Q and Cloud can answer. Q and Cloud, anybody? Hey, this is my learning, because today also I spoke to an app company. I told some black box testing, A/B testing. Then the fellow asked me one question I didn't understand after that. Then I told I'll connect him. But this quality was a question that everybody seemed to have. So anybody from Q and Cloud who can give me an answer?
We have a team from Q and Cloud. Yes,
Yeah, I
Bharti.
know, I can see people, but nobody's unmuting.
Yeah.
That was not Q and Cloud. Okay, so I think I don't know. So probably when Q and Cloud comes back, we'll discuss that aspect. So quality, very specifically, when I talk about annotation, when I talk about testing, or when I tell them that hey, we have LLM requirements, all this is what most of the people say. The other interesting aspect is the way we are telling story about detach. So they keep asking us, how do you, what are the skill sets, and how do you make people relevant, and how remotely, how do you train people? Because Desigood is that your trainers are sitting remotely, you claim the people are working remotely, customers elsewhere. So with all this kind of tentacles being spread, how does training and certification happen is one of the questions that people ask. So we talk about detach, we talk about the emphasis that we have on skilling and reskilling. So detach is definitely a USP when you compare to other outsourcing vendors and partners, team. So this is just and all of this I'm telling is only in the last 5 days of conversation. So it's very vibrant. There are a lot of activities happening. Every day is a learning thing for us. And I, to take up any POCs, to take up any answers and replies, I obviously have to come back to the DNext team only. But yeah, it looks very exciting at this point of time. Yeah. Sorry, so Shanmugaraj, I think, had a question. So I hope I addressed part of most. Yes, sir.
One question I would like to ask you is, just now you explained, like you talked about detach. So what was the reaction from the customers and like how they reacted when we explained, when you explained about detach?
Fortunately for them, it is like I tell them, then I quickly dial the detach website on my phone, and then I show them like this, and then I take it back.
Oh, okay.
So they know that there is something on its detach. But our website, even Desi Crew's website itself, is not strong enough for me to showcase it and walk through somebody at this point of time, right? I rely a lot on LinkedIn at this point of time to showcase that, hey, these are our posts, these are our activities, this is the profile of our business head, this is some of our customer names, all of it I'm trying only on LinkedIn. Right. Now, detach per se, right, has a very, very strong selling point, and at least I love talking, and I think that's a very convincing fact because we are a people company, we are a services company, we are not a technology company, we are not a product company, right? So for us to say that, hey, we are having 1,500 people, and they can do image annotation, you're talking about LLM, then you talk about data entry, then you talk about F&A automation, then you take bot making, and then you turn around and say we do software testing, and then there is managed IT services. So suddenly there seems to be too many conversations. So it is very difficult for them to believe that an organization can have so many service offerings without messing up on everything. Does that make some sense?
Okay, that's great.
So that's where I have to say, hey, detach is my area where I sharpen the knives, right? So while we go cutting the wood, detach is an area where every day people have to be there to sharpen their edges.
Yes.
Right? And they kind of buy it when they see the portal, and I tell them that it's a part of the, internal R&R and internal assessment. And more importantly, how I tell them that it's compulsory for people. I still don't know what is the scene, Shanmugaraj. Are we live on detach right now?
No, it's not live. It's in.
Okay. So
we need to upgrade something.
That's what they say, right? Okay. So I keep talking about.
But you can tell recently we have completed a version, Detach Express.
Shanmugaraj, you have no idea what and all I'm telling about Detach. I'm telling as though Detach is going to get Nobel Prize for the work that is being done. Okay. So the reason also being that for the end side, right? Because they have not seen our people. Okay. Yes. They do not know if Mohan is qualified automobile engineer or Mohan is a qualified project manager, right? And they will have to trust Mohan because Mohan is talking to them. Okay. But below Mohan, there are some 100 people. Who is the trainer? Who is the QC? Right? Do they understand QC? Who is the transition person? Right? Do they have an HR? What about compliance? Okay. All those things. And what about IT? Do they have valid IT certified products? Are they working on pirated products? Little things like that, right? So for all of that, I have to say that we are an ISO company. We kind of been featured. So that gives the credibility for the organization, right? Incubated out of IIT and all that. But when you talk about the credibility of people, so when you say I'm working with say KPMG or when I'm working with Infosys, it gives you a different level of credibility, right? When you're an employee. But unfortunately, Desi Crew has not reached that level. When I say I'm an employee of Desi Crew, gives me an automatic credibility, right? So I have to insist, I have to showcase that as an organization, we are investing and reinvesting and skilling and reskilling our people. So from that perspective, detach is very, very essential. As much as I can tell about how many years of experience the F&A team has, or kind of customers that for QN Cloud has, right? I have to talk about the fact that we take L&D as a serious internal item.
Okay.
That makes some sense. So as much as customers want to know about our capability in KPIs and SLAs, they want to understand our HR compliances. They want to know about our L&D practices. So
Okay.
from that perspective, everything, I think recently I think there's this great place to work survey that happened. So I don't know if everybody completed on that. And I'm hoping that people give an honest response. So if great place to work rating is coming at 9.5, people on the floor are unhappy, then there's a definite mismatch, right?
Yeah.
Whereas genuinely the score is coming and then it's a reflection of the people's intention, that is very good. At least it's a learning for us to correct ourselves. So that is where those ratings and those efforts, those surveys, the detract and everything matter a lot.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so
sorry.
apart from business thing, I have one more question to you.
Please. Go ahead.
Okay, recently Trump was shot, right? Like shot in the sense he just missed. So what kind of reaction, what kind of thing, is there still any chaos in US regarding that? So how the people are reacting?
There are a lot of conspiracy theories that are going around on that. The person who shot was again encountered on the spot. He was a 20-year-old kid who failed shooting lessons in his school itself. And there's a whole lot of activities happening. Then there is pressure right now on the sitting president to not contest, step down and allow another person to contest. But personally, I thought it was a wonderful photo opportunity.
Yes.
And if I know Veena tells me not to talk politics in the office, but I thought what the Tamil Nadu and Indian politicians did 100 years ago, now only US is following all of that. So you would have seen so many movies where you stage something and you gain sympathy, right? So because I'm reading a lot about the Secret Service reaction, the number of people around, the distance from which this guy was shot. Obviously, all of these are just random conspiracy theories. And if you look at some of the photos that came out, right, the official photos that came out, so when an assassination attempt happens, right, nobody can take a PC Sriram equivalent of a photo.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you can see a fantastic photo with the American flag in the background and Trump putting a thumbs up and all that, right?
Yes.
So that only happened in a Shankar movie kind of a setup.
Correct.
And unfortunate that 2 lives have been lost. The shooter and a 50-year-old family man who was there, right? And expired like that. But having said all of that, politics is what politics is. There is no chaos here. There is no confusion. I mean,
no confusion.
There are no riots or anything. If anything like that was there, first thing I would have stocked up food and stuff. So nothing like that was there. In fact, I think the incident happened on Saturday, but there's no much reaction to that. In fact, there was a lot more buzz around the Microsoft's crash yesterday.
Yes.
Trump's thing. Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody experienced that? Is our IT team here?
No, in our company, I don't think we had any problem because it's connected. No, it's connected only with a certain antivirus software where they are using in cloud. So only those systems got affected.
Oh, okay. So somewhere affected, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Right. Thank you, Shanmugh.
Thank you, Ashwanth. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Ashwanth, I have a question. Srilekha asked me to ask in Tamil. So Tamil மக்களுக்காக, right? See, ரெண்டு கேள்வியும் நீங்க பதில் சொல்லிட்டீங்க. I wanted to ask you about the crowd strike which happened yesterday, and also whether Trump's assassination bid was an orchestrated event, right? So that is another clue.
I say my opinion.
Okay, சரி, அது இருக்கட்டும். நான் அந்த கேள்வி கிடையாது, உங்ககிட்ட இப்ப கேள்வி கேட்க போறேன். So இப்ப சேல்ஸ்ல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 20 years before டை போட்டுட்டு ஒரு டோர் ஏறிட்டு இல்ல கம்பெனிக்கு போயிட்டு சேல்ஸ் யூஸ் டு ஹேப்பன். இப்ப எல்லாமே வந்து இட் இஸ் பிகம் லைக் இன்சைட் சேல்ஸ். இப்ப நம்ம இடத்துலயே வந்து வி ஆர் டூயிங் மோர் த்ரூ இன்சைட் சேல்ஸ் த்ரூ கான்டாக்ட்ஸ், லிங்க்டின் அண்ட் அதர் திங். ஸோ இப்போ யூஎஸ்ன்ட்டு நம்ம வந்து பார்க்கும்போது நீங்க உங்களுக்கு எங்க டீம் இருக்கு அண்ட் யூ ஆர் இன் டச் வித் தட் டீம் அண்ட் தென் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் தட் இன்சைட் சேல்ஸ் ஸ்டஃப். பட் இப்போ நீங்க அங்க பிசிக்கலி இங்க உட்கார்ந்து இருக்க டைம்ல, so there is a huge advantage, right? Because so அது எப்படி leverage ஆகுதா? Because are there opportunities உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்குதா அவங்கள மீட் பண்ணிட்டு? So that becomes easy for closing as well, right? You have a face to look at and stuff like that, one. And அதே மாதிரி வந்து என்ன மாதிரி opportunities நீங்க இப்போ பாக்குறீங்க, right? And For example, இப்போ உங்க ட்ரிப் ஆல ரைட், வாட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி யூ ஆல்ரெடி செட் அபவுட் டேட்டா அனடேஷன், அது மாதிரி வந்து ஏதாவது நல்ல செய்தி நம்ம தேசி க்ரூ ப்ராசஸ் அண்ட் டீமுக்கு வர வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்கா? அதுதான் என்னோட கேள்வி.
Thank you, Saranand. So to be honest, right? So Desi Crew's sales initiatives, and I don't know if everybody knows, there's Dharmalai who's heading the India sales. Then there is Sudhakar and Aman who drive the QN Cloud sales. There's Karthik from Chennai office who kind of drives the Europe and US accounts for Accountify. So we have one resource named Dilip who does the calling. We have Shanti and Aarti who do the lead generation. I think, so correct me if I'm wrong, Sudhakar, you also have, I think, Shivangi and one more person doing lead generation. So there's a...
Yeah.
Yes, Sudhakar?
Shivangi and Shashi doing...
See, Sudhakar, பேச வச்சிட்டேன். இப்போ அந்த கேள்விக்கு நீங்க தான் Sudhakar அடுத்து பதில் சொல்லணும். I'll come to that. So what they do, Sarunan, is that they capture the potential targets, they reach out to them, they try to make them understand what is the fit for QA or for Accountify with them, right? So at the end of the day, the approach right now is what is the pain point of the customer that we are solving. And this is for everybody. In fact, I'm happy that the DNext team is here, right? We don't tell, in fact, my conversation is not about, okay, I do annotation, I do labeling, I do this, and I'm good at this. I only try to talk to them by telling, hey, I understand that you guys are working on reducing, increasing driver safety for your vehicles, which means that there has to be high quality data. And that high quality data is what we help you in providing. So theoretically, what I'm saying is, it always has to start from the customer. And for us to understand what the customer is, right, it is important that we are in the market.
True.
So, sitting in Chennai, I can obviously know that Google is trying to do improve their pixel facial recognition. I know that they're working on Gemini project. I know that Presto is trying to, improve their audio assessment of the order placement. But when I come and sit and talk to them, like today we were talking, so Saloni had referred us to somebody, we met somebody from Zoom. So Zoom is talking about some of the enterprise projects that they are having in mind this is for the next 2 quarters, and how their team is working at the back end and how they are doing testing, because they don't want to outsource the testing piece, right? So when we tried to speak about software testing, they said that we don't want to outsource the testing because of certain reasons. So now it is up to QN Cloud to see how we can address and break those shackles and make them comfortable about outsourcing the testing requirement. So we identified a testing requirement, but they don't want to outsource for some reason. So that we need to address and build in the confidence. And that has happened only because we were here and we were able to meet them in person. And another thing is, any sales, any business development, right, is people say B2C, B2B, but it's all P2P, person to person.
True.
Somebody works with us only because they like us, right? It is not, of course, it's Desi Crew, the brand, but it's also Desi Crew as a person, right, that we try to project. So from that perspective, being in the market is definitely helping, Saravana. That is one. Second thing is, there are a lot of activities that are happening. That is what I think is something that I have been personally missing for a long time. The last 5 days, I've attended 5 events. And I had 4 meetings. So almost this kind of a tight schedule I've not had for a long time.
True.
And next week, I already have 3 meetings lined up. And how do I meet? So I go in the train. So anybody random, when I talk, I build up conversations. I travel in Uber. There's a Uber share. So I'm meeting one professor of Stanford Business School because he came in the Uber cab with me. And would you believe it? He is doing his PhD on social enterprises, right? And randomly, I mean, as usual, clumsily, I think I dropped something. He told me to put a seatbelt or something. From there, the conversation started. And by the time we dropped him and I had to go to my place, we realized that he's a professor. He's working, his research is on social enterprises. He's engaging with some company in India. And he heard about Desi Crew story. He saw our website. Next week, he's saying, let's see how we can build up a kind of an assessment model to evaluate the impact that Desi Crew is doing.
Absolutely.
This could have never happened otherwise.
Otherwise, and also Uber share.
The sad part is,
yeah,
Uber itself is supposed to be our customer. That has not happened yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I hope you track that.
So Uber, we met in Sunnyvale. I don't know if TNP Palayam team remembers. Uber team came all the way. They saw. So Uber itself is supposed to become our customer. They will become. That's one of the challenges here. One of the things that I want to really close with Uber signing up with Uber as a requirement. And coming to what you said, right? What are the other opportunities? So we need to think of ourselves as an organization which is a services company, which is HITL, human in the loop for the AI. So we create the intelligence into artificial intelligence, right? So Google Gemini or Meta or any company that has an LLM needs the human curation. Google can collect data from anywhere, but it needs a little bit of smart validation to say that the data is correct. Now, it's like, again, I use this example of my son. So if I keep telling my son, if I keep showing him yellow color jersey and tell him that this is Mumbai Indians, he will learn it as Mumbai Indians only.
True.
So that is the same with the computer also. You have to show the computer, teach the computer correctly. So the conversation that we are having right now, right? There is a Disha team that is doing voice and sentiment analysis on this. So if they transcribe me incorrectly, or if they say that Ashwant talking like this is a sign of a irritated customer, the computer will learn it incorrectly. So it becomes garbage in and garbage out.
True.
So that is why the need for quality or people who understand what quality metrics are for the task is what the customer is wanting to ask. So we've had, I don't know, there's Vaidesh, there's Ram Subramaniam, Chennai. So these are people who have worked on the data. So if some point of time, Srileka, if you can get them to talk about the importance of data, quality of data, right, from their past experience, that will be a good session actually.
Sure, sir. Sure.
That is something that the customers, I mean, one is you have a company like Amazon and Google who have thousands of vendors. So when we go and tell them, boss, I do some work, they're like, okay, here is your sheet, fill it up and come back. But then there are a lot of these startup kids, there are a lot of these people who work in these big four who have come out and started on their own, but they want reliable partners. So they want to understand how we prepare a production flow, how we create an operations flow. That we are a 18-year-old, 17-year-old company. We are incubated with the IIT. We have an experience of working with the world's best companies that has to reflect on our approach document. So that, Saravanan, is what I'm trying to do. Understand what customer requirements are. But I think it'll be a huge failure if when I come back in November 5th, if we have not done at least a half a dozen pilots from where it stands right now.
I hope it happens. Just a thought to add. You talked about Uber. We have Ola, which is an Indian thing. So maybe we can crack that part. Maybe
we reached out to Bhavesh actually, Bhavesh Agarwal and team. In fact, they are very much into the Ola scooters right now.
Right.
And I don't know if you are following now. They were using Google Maps till last year. And this year, they refuse to use Google Maps. They're telling me we have our own maps. So Ola has its own maps. So which means I don't have to pay. They're saving 100 crores, it seems, by not using Google Maps.
Right.
So the moment they did that, Google has reduced the price of its maps by 70%.
Mm-hmm.
So Ola has maps. Uber has its kind of maps. Apple has its maps. Microsoft has its Bing maps. So all of these are opportunities for us, sir.
Absolutely. And you see there are a lot of these kind of travel apps which is mushrooming. In Chennai alone, if you take, in last 6 months, there are so many other who have come up with the apps. Fast Track traditionally was not app-based. So they have made an app. So you've got the Red Taxi, which is an app, which has come very recently.
That is also because 5 years ago, you needed people, programmers, software people to write, right? Now you have a no-code, low-code, low-code, no-code. I don't even know what it means. All I know that without even knowing coding, I can develop my own app.
Right.
Ashwanth, sitting in somewhere, can develop his own app. So to create a website, I don't know if anybody from Prashant's team is here. Disha, anybody here? No? Good. Okay. So because they've been pushing me to create a website for them, 2 months we're not responding at all. But then we have these, I know Berlin is able to generate a website in half an hour without any inputs. You know, it's just like how you're generating content. You can generate a website, you can generate a PPT, so you can generate an app also. But there also, you need the human intervention for testing and curating. So that's where our relevance is. But the window is shrinking right now. So we need to move fast. We need to move right. We won't get too many opportunities. The first attempt we need to do correct. So I don't know, Mohan, do you remember this project that we did for Cognic? Do you remember 2 years ago? Cognic?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. 2022.
So Cognic was a Swedish-based company. I'm sharing this for everybody, right? It's a Swedish-based company. 2 years ago, they gave a pilot, very, very detailed. I think Mohan can correct me if I'm wrong, as to what they wanted, how they wanted it to be done. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the pilot correctly. And they gave a very detailed report also as to what went wrong, which is fine. But the problem is, after that, Cognic has raised millions of dollars in funding, but they're not allowing us to work with them. Simply because of the record we have with them. That is number one. Second is, I don't know if anybody from, again, Disha team here, when customers are telling they want to do a pilot with us now, they are tracking everything right from the time that how are you responding to a mail, the speed at which you're responding, the kind of questions you are asking, are you asking questions, how repeatedly are you doing a mistake, are you asking, clarifying things at what stage you're asking clarifications. Again, this I learned from Bosch. Mohan, sorry, I'm going back to Mohan again. Bosch was done at TN Palayam, right?
Yes,
Bosch.
sir. Yes. We did 2 pilots. One is
Right.
2D
So
kind of one
Bosch
pilot.
very, very carefully tracked everything, team. Mohan knows this. I'm sharing it for everybody. So right from the email that was sent, whether you acknowledged it, simple things, right? Did we acknowledge that email? When we acknowledged the email, did we read through the document? Did we ask any questions? How long did it take for us to ask questions? What kind of questions were asked? Were it repetitive? Did we go through the document? Because they can understand. If you go through the document, you would not have asked this question. So did we go through the document? And in a group orientation, are we asking questions? What kind of questions? Thiru sir, I mean, it's there for the last 15 years. He would beg the team to ask questions. You'd say something, respond, acknowledge. We understood, sir. We didn't understand. Because when you don't do that, they are uncomfortable. That's a sense that I'm also getting when I talk to people here. So it is important that when we get an opportunity, the first hit has to be the right hit. Usually I say we are like MS Dhoni, we leave it for the first 15 and last 5 hours we'll score and we'll win the match. Unfortunately, MS Dhoni theory is not working in the last 5 years. This is my observation. And this is only with the overseas customers. And recently, I wish somebody from the Disha team is here. Anybody from Disha? Nobody. So Disha, Nirmala and Prashant and I think Ganesh, Soumya, all of them had a project from... Hi, Sabita. Congratulations.
Yeah, hi.
So can you tell me what you did for Sama?
No, I'm working for Sarvam.
Okay. So Sarvam, right? Again, Sarvam is a classic example. I wish I had some data points. So what we did for Sarvam is what I'm selling for all LLM requirements. Savita, can you tell me what you do for Sarvam?
Sarvam, we have translation, transliteration, and the LLM. And now we are doing the transcription. They have given the audio-based thing. We have to listen to the audio and we have to check with the text whether it is correct or not or wrong. So now, as you said,
What is this name? What is the name of this process? You should not say things like we check if it is correct or not. This is search data evaluation, text data assessment, text data ranking.
Okay.
It's all about how you package it, right? Transcription, don't say annotation. It's all the same, no doubt. But because the audience are changing, our performances also have to change.
Okay. Yes.
So thanks, Abhita. I mean, it's a classic example, right? I'm sure a lot of people have heard this analogy. 3 people were doing the same work, 3 people doing the same task. So when you ask the third person what he's doing, the guy is like, I'm breaking stone. The second guy, when you ask, what are you doing? He's like, Arey yaar, I'm doing the work that they asked me to do so that I learn money and I'll go and eat with the money. When you ask the first guy what he's doing, all the 3 are doing the same task. But you ask the first guy, he says, I'm making the god that will be placed in the temple. Right? All the 3 people are doing sculptors only. But the way in which you see the work is how it will reflect on the output that you generate. I hope that makes some sense. right? So, over.
No, sir. This was a message from Rajan, sir. He couldn't join the session. Yeah.
Okay.
No worry.
No. Sorry.
Talking about Sama, right? I had opportunity where Veena wanted me to assist this for one particular part where I did QC, right? There were two things which came out for Sama. One is for the data annotation, which is for the pictures, right? Another one was like an mission generated stuff which they had, and which we had to work and see whether it is good, right? So that is what we were working at, and we are waiting eagerly for the response from the client. So I thought that is also a pain area when we work and all, and somewhere down the line they don't get back. We have been eagerly, Soumya has been chasing. I saw an email again coming from the client today, and so maybe that is again eagerly we are waiting what will happen, and if it happens, if it cracks, then that's a great thing for us. So that could be a pain area as well. Yeah,
I'm glad that you worked on that project.
Yeah, as a
now
QC.
tell me, Saravanan,
Yeah.
how will you? Sorry, I'm putting mute because I'm trying to eat the food before it gets cold again. So Saravanan, tell me, how will you prepare a team of 20 people for the task? Team of 20 people. How will you train them? Or how do you think you can train them?
Okay. See, as I said, no, I was not on the picture part, which Ganesh and team did. I was on that script part, where what is happening, they have given reference text, and then there's a mission generated stuff, which they have already done. And they are also saying it is high quality. But again, they want everything from this mission generated to match with the reference text. You can't have anything like you say that the reference text says today's prime minister is Rahul Gandhi, so you have to go by that. So we can't Google and stuff like that. So these are the rules. So first thing first is like, because we all put our brain. I came in a bit late, and then what happened is like then Prashant came in again. So we went through the rule which they give. We need to stick to the rule. So that's very important. Unless and until we need to understand what they want, and we need to deliver with that, right? So we can't use our common sense there. So that is one. Second is like what happens is like everything starts from there. Everything starts from there. So for this particular process, since it was in English, it can be pretty tough. They can talk about a lot of things we don't know. We don't know. They talked about the American amendments. They talked about the baseball kind of stuff. They spoke about a lot of other things. They talked about real intriguing system-related stuff, which we don't understand ABC of it. So now this is where what happens is like we had a team. I had two more of them, and when we worked and we brainstormed, so we picked up pace a little bit later, but pace is not important. Important is like sticking with this. So how do you train? Coming back to your question, so you need to see horses for the courses. You need to have right people for this particular project. If you have someone who can't understand the language, then it becomes a worry. It can happen same for any other language as well, Hindi or any other language. One. Second is like we need to again go through, before you start running, you need to see which terrain you're going to run. So you need to go through that Bible or maybe Gita, Quran, whatever you want to call it, that particular reference text which they give, what client expect, and then you need to do that. And then once these 20 people which you're talking about, if they do this stuff, then the QC part job becomes easy. But since it was initially initial stages, so everybody made their hand dirty, and this is what it is. So this is my outlook about your question, Ashwanth.
Thank you, sir. So Sabita, what you are doing for Sarvam, right, is similar to what Sarvan sir just spoke right now. But the input is images, and input is a preset text. So now, I'm sharing this question with everybody, right? Sama is asking us, you did a great job. We liked your work. Now, tell me, how will you create a 200 people setup that can handle this? Our first response is 200 to come. When you want to see, we'll give you 200 names. But they're asking, how will you prepare 200 people who can do this work in the KPI and SLA metrics that we have spoken? So I'm leaving that questions with the leaders out here, right? Including the detached team, including all of the details. This is not necessarily only a LLM problem. This is not a Disha's problem. This is what customers are asking from Accountify. This is what they're asking about Managed AI services. That's a different beast altogether, right? So think about this. I think in the days to come, this will be taken up for further discussion. But thank you, Saranand sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. So Ashwin sir, we have 10 more minutes. I want other people also to engage with us.
Sorry,
We have
sorry.
Gautam Raj, we have Veena, Vismaya, Vivek from other centers.
Go ahead. Sure, sorry, please.
Yeah. Okay. Anything from you, Gokul?
Yeah, Gokul put a thumbs up. What happened, Gokul?
Meghla Priya.
Is
Karthik
Gokul here?
Rajan is here.
He put a thumbs up. It's a thumbs down, actually. Gokul, can you come online? Hello, Gokul?
Okay, Gokul is currently now is not there, I believe, sir. Yeah.
Sudhakar is here. Let's catch Sudhakar.
Yes, please.
Sudhakar, sir, please help me with an answer, because you talk to a lot of your customers from overseas, right? How do you address, or what is the most effective way to tell them or respond to a question on quality framework?
Ashwath, we are providing software testing as a service from Kian Cloud.
Correct.
Our main objective is to find bugs. It's not like maintaining 95% or 100%.
You have your own, right. It's not a percentage.
Yeah.
But what if you miss out on a bug? How will you know that if there is a bug that you don't find?
It's like teams professionalism. While we work with the customers, we mainly focus on the product testing as per the view of the end customer, like how end customer will be operating on a product that vision we have, and we'll go through the product to find out bugs in the product. That's what we do mainly. We will give there are different divisions of bugs, right? Critical bug to normal bug. We will make sure that there is no critical bug at all in the product when it goes to the customer phase. There could be minor bugs which could be taken care by the development team in developing appropriate product enhancements, kind of those things. That's what we do.
Right. So yours is very specific. So that is helpful, Sudhakar. So I'll probably try to remember that, because today I couldn't give a proper answer. But definitely I'll come back to you, Sudhakar,
sure.
when these conversations are taking shape.
Anytime, yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to answer to Saranand also. So another thing that I'm also doing is attending events out here. So there is a NVIDIA summit that's happening next week, and then there is an AI summit happening. Then there is a Gen AI summit. Then there is a software development for vehicle summit happening. So for all these summits, it's very expensive. They charge $1,000, $2,000 and all for entry. Now, obviously, Ram Kumar will not give me that much of allowance. So what I try to do is, without making registration, I just go stand outside. If it is in a hotel lobby or something, I generally hang outside. Then I try talking to the organizers. Then I try to put a sad face, telling that boss, itna paisa nahi hai, de do andar. So we try to get an entry. Not a very cool thing to do, but those events generally help. So that's another thing that I'm looking to take part. Events and conferences. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, Sri Lanka. Anybody else?
Okay. Thank you. Anybody want to ask anything?
Nobody wants to move to the US office, is it? We have a beautiful office, lovely weather. Nobody wants to come to the office, US office. Nobody.
Exactly at which place you are in, Ashwanth, right now? In Bay Area?
I am in the place of trouble only. But anyway, so I'm right now put up at Santa Clara. In fact, I wanted to stay in Sunnyvale. So house hunting means you have to put your credit history and all. So I went to a lot of these websites in which I make applications. Then I go in person to see the people. When they spoke to me, so I saw around 12 houses last. House means what? It's a shared room with a family. So there's a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, and I get a room and I live in that room. So for some reason, whenever they saw me, they rejected me. All of these are Indian families only. So in the phone, on email, checkup, social media, and all, I qualified. But when I went there, they saw me, and then they said, because usually the stay here is coming with food, so which means there's generally a husband, wife, and children.
Yeah, PG.
So the wife, there's PG equivalent. So for me, it worked well. I said, okay, I'm vegetarian. I don't demand much. but instead of giving 2-3 items, just give me one large item. So that, and I think they mistook me for the Baroda Suri equivalent. So 3 families rejected me. But then this place, I said I won't leave until you accept. So they had to take me up. And so I want to show the room, unfortunately, but I don't want to. So this place doesn't have a light. So I said I need a table, chair, and light. Without that, I can't work. So they put one table, which is standing now. The chair already got bent twice. But if I go and complain, he'll ask me to pay for it. Again, Ram won't make reimbursement. Light, this is the light that you get when people... இந்த ஊர்ல வந்து தமிழ்ல சொல்றேன் பிகாஸ் அவங்க பக்கத்துல கேட்டுற போறாங்கன்ட்டு. இந்த ஊர்ல வந்து யாராவது எதுவும் வேணான்னா ரோட்ல அப்படியே வச்சிருவாங்க. வேணான்னா நம்ம எடுத்துட்டு வந்துக்கலாம். அது ஒரு நல்ல பழக்கம் இந்த ஊர்ல. ஸோ சோஃபா செட்ல இருந்து டிவி, வாஷிங் மிஷின் எல்லாமே வெளியில கிடக்கும். நம்ம பாட்டு எடுத்துட்டு வந்துக்கலாம். ஸோ அப்படி எங்கேயோ இந்த லைட் எடுத்துட்டு வந்து இங்க போட்டு விட்டுருக்காங்க. இதுல என்ன பிரச்சனைனா, when I go on client calls, imagine going on a call with client like this. The problem is that this light has its own mind. Suddenly it will start, like you said, let's start flickering. It will give green, yellow, blue disco light. And imagine I was talking to somebody and suddenly the light started flickering. And so that's what it is. But otherwise, this is the place. Yeah. So I'm at Santa Clara. A lot of
available. Is BART available till Santa Clara?
Yeah.
BART. How you
there is no BART here. So what happens is, if I walk for about 3 kilometers, I go to a VTA.
Oh, okay.
So VTA in the River Works VTA, I have to take 2 connections, and then Milpitas BART is available. And if I have to go to Caltrain, Santa Clara is available. So இங்க இருக்க பப்ளிக் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் எல்லாத்தையும் நான் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். நைட்டு 10-11. இன்ஃபேக்ட் லாஸ்ட் டியூஸ்டே நான் வந்து I came back at 10:30. Next day morning I'm going, somebody broke that display TV there. So that is how funny life is. So you never know what gets broken when. So haso jio muskurao.
Thank you, Ashwanth sir. Thanks, Sudhakar. So we have Gokul back here, sir.
Finally, Gokul, why did you put thumbs down, Gokul? Because Texas Super Kings lost.
No, sir, I just made a mistake over there. Instead of putting
no, not acceptable at all. That point.
I just need to ask sorry for Saravanan, because when he was just communicating to you, I just made those mistakes.
I thought Gokul didn't like me at all.
No, not like this. It's my mistake actually.
Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
We got
about chair, Ashwanth. Chennai Central நிறைய chairs வந்து ஒரு மாதிரி tangled இருக்கு. அது
அது பாலாக்கு வந்து நீங்க இந்த போட்டோ எல்லாம் எடுத்து அனுப்புறேன். பட் இங்க என்ன பிரச்சனைனா, நீ என்ன வேணாலும் பண்ணிக்கோ, டெபாசிட்ல பாத்துப்போம் அப்படின்ட்டாங்க. கடைசியில டெபாசிட் திரும்பி வராது. அப்ப நான் ராம் கிட்ட என்ன பதில் சொல்லுவேன்னு தெரியல. சோ எது உடனே போட்டோ எடுத்து அனுப்பிச்சிடுறேன் பாலமுருகனுக்கு சென்னைக்கு.
கோகுல் எப்படியும் முடிச்சிருக்காங்க. ஸ்ரீலேகா, கோகுல் உங்க கேள்வி.
Ashwanth, I think the only person you're missing the most is Ram, because I think from the time I started listening, you said his name almost 100 times, I believe.
No, Meena, that's because I'm talking to everybody. No, Thiru sir, I'm talking every day. Every day I'm talking.
That's what I said. You're missing him.
Money,
get him on a call next time with you.
Mr. Money, I'm talking. You at least 2-3 times I spoke. Subhadra, for some reason, when I'm there, I've never spoken to her. After coming here, I'm speaking in all time zones to her. So yeah. But yes, so how are you, Gokul? Any questions? Yeah, Srileka or Ravi ending?
Yes, sir, I'm doing good. So how about you?
Doing good.
So sir, I have one small question, generic question, sir. So I don't know whether the crowd have been asked already. So since Desicro, we are just handling multiple clients, but we are just not stepped up to the medical billing domain. So is there any specific reason, since you are being part of US? So you may have
medical billing, definitely. See, there's HIPAA compliance, right? When you do medical transcription, you have to be HIPAA compliant. Medical billing, you don't need that skill set, but that's a completely different field which we had not reached out for compliance reasons, honestly.
Okay, sir. So I do have experience over that. So I just thought why Desicro was not bringing those platforms inside.
No, it's to be honest, I think if I'm not wrong, 2011-12 only the conversations came up, Gokul. But at that time, we honestly didn't have the capabilities. One, and we didn't have the understanding of driving it. And it was coming from US at that time, and we didn't have a US presence, so we were not confident. Right now, I'm in a stage where any project, anything will take it up. If somebody wants to if they want to outsource the presidency of US, we're also willing to take it up. But at the same time, you understand the business units, right? So all of them are focusing. We don't want to get distracted. We don't want to get too many small things which are away from what our goal is. So we are now 1,500 people. Can we become a 3,000 people organization in the next 2 years? Can we make our revenue 3 times? If we're going to make it, what are we going to do to make it? Right? That is the conversation that we are having. And whatever opportunities come, we need to scale. Like HL, we want to grow from 100 to 300. Hapagloid, right?
Yes.
Disha, can we take up 5 more LLM activities? Like Sarvam, can we do 3 more Sarvams? Right? What is the pain point? So that is our focus. And honestly, at this point of time, we don't want to take up anything new because that has its own gestation period and that will become a distraction. So I hope I've answered you.
Yes.
Anybody else? Veena, you have any announcements to make? Oh, okay, Sri Lanka, sorry, I think Sri Lanka is blinking.
No, sir. Veena left. I believe she had another call. So
Okay,
I
good.
think,
So,
yes.
anything else, folks?
Sir, it's a general question which I want to ask you, sir. So you're there with the Desi Crew for the last 15 plus years, right? So you are meeting the other clients also. So if you want to just stand for the Desi Crew, I'll say this thing which I can talk best about the Desi Crew, which everyone should know. What will be the one thing you want to share it, sir? Because the crowd is here. So I want you to share that thing, like.
No, so it's see, this is a selling story, right? So at the end of the day, I'm only a storyteller, Sri Lanka, to be honest, right? I don't whatever we are selling that's available online. They can read everything about Desi Crew online only. There's nothing additional that I can say. But when they hear it from us, it just reflects the passion with which we are carrying the organization, right? So what is it? Why should they work with Desi Crew? Because we are solving their problem. That is how I'm positioning us. Obviously, then you can say, boss, everybody's doing it. What is so special about you? Right? So I try not to have the same answer for everybody. So when you talk to a Google, your positioning is very different. When you are trying to open a conversation with, say, Netflix or a Walmart, your conversation is different. When you're talking to a Zoom, your pitch is different. But at the end of the day, it is all about them getting convinced that this is a reliable team that will not let me down. Does that make some sense?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And for them, unfortunately, I am their first face.
Yeah.
So immediately after me, then I have to position the head of the businesses. And then the delivery managers come into play. Right? So I need to ensure that I am genuine in what we say. And we are genuinely earnest about solving the customer's problem in the best possible way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. So thank you, sir. I think we are end of the session. If we don't have any question, we can end the session. And definitely before you leave US, we'll have one more session, sir. How was your 3 months spending in US? Everything.
We'll try to have it during the daytime where
Sure.
probably I can show you the office
Please, sir.
and probably some running pictures and me playing cricket and me doing other work here and all, because they have a beautiful library here. I've registered in the library. I'm going to read for the children over the weekends. There's a lot of active. So that's another thing from a personal front, right? So
Okay.
like tomorrow, there is a reading for the children session in English. And then next week, there is an opportunity for me to teach English. Then I've also registered at the Stanford University to help school children from different backgrounds to understand AI as a career. Now, what do I know about that? That's a different question. But willing, and personally, I've also applied for auditions for the theatre activities here. So for all that you know, in the next 2-3 months, I might be even acting in a stage drama. The cricket team already rejected me, but I will deal with them later. But there are other activities that I am pursuing. So sometime if you can do it during the day, probably the visuals can also be shared.
Sure, sir. Sure. Yeah.
So next call could be 10 p.m. call, 10 p.m. IST call, right?
Sorry, sir?
10 p.m. IST call.
No, for Sudhakar, it's just another day in the office then.
Yeah. It's like our use of.
Honestly, thank you very much, team. It's really, really nice. I mean, I listen to a lot of songs to keep myself connected to the hometown, especially a lot of Tamil songs. More than the food, because Anup really feeds me well whenever I meet him. Like today also, we went to Apakadai and I wish I could show the photo, but I'm not wanting to make it gross. We finished crab and gobi and everything. But the songs are a huge source of connect for how much you're missing your roots. So I keep listening to a lot of songs. But yeah, otherwise it's good to have heard and started with this song, Srilekha. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Bye.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining.
Bye.